Hello and welcome to the channel. It's your favourite Scotsman here again, and today we're going to be walking through 5 things people commonly regret at the end of retirement. Learning from others can help you understand how to avoid these potential issues. Retirement is not just about when you should take CPP and how you should draw down your RRSP. Yes, these are topics that need to be considered. But life is about cultivating a sense of meaning, intention and purpose. At the end of the day, deciding on when to take CPP or how much to draw out of your RRSP this year, it simply doesn't matter if you're not designing the life that you want to live to make the absolute most of those wonderful retirement years. They aren't the goal, they're just the tools you can use to achieve your goals. What are the 5 things people regret at the end of retirement? Well, luckily for us, a nurse in Australia by the name of Bronnie Wear wrote a book about this. Her insights as a nurse are invaluable, and the work she put into her novel is commendable. I've included a link below in the show notes if you're interested in reading it and supporting her contributions to society. Bronnie was a palliative nurse who counselled the dying in their last days. She details the phenomenal clarity people gain at the end of their lives and how we might learn from their wisdom. When questioned about any regrets they had or anything they would do differently, she says common themes surfaced again and again. The first and most common regret she heard was, "I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." As Bronnie noted, most people had not honoured even half their dreams and passed away knowing it was down to decisions they made or didn't make. Look at your life today. Is it your dream and what you imagined it would be, or is it just what's expected of you? Lasting, meaningful fulfilment comes from within, not from without. What do you do for work? Where do you live? What social activities do you participate in? Is that what you want and what's best for you and your family? Or are you just doing it because you've been told that's what you ought to do? I see too many people toiling away at a job they don't care for. They put their careers ahead of their health, all so they can buy a massive house with a bunch of rooms they won't even go into, just so they can impress John and Sally from across the street that they don't even like in the first place. Honey, have you seen my happiness? No, check the west wing of the estate. Disappointing your boss or your co-workers should be avoided, of course, but not if it comes at the cost of neglecting yourself. It's commendable to be a team player, and I can fully appreciate that you're very good at what you do. That being said, and I hate to be the one to break it to you, the company will survive with or without you. You'll be missed, but someone will step in and replace you, and the cycle will start over again. Staying faithful to yourself is more rewarding than being loyal to the company you work for. Now this ties in nicely with the second regret, which was a common theme among men in particular. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Bronnie went on to say, "This came from almost every male patient that I nursed. They missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. All of the men I nursed deeply regretted spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of a work existence." Look, there's nothing wrong with hard work. I consider myself a pretty hard worker, but you have to strike the nice balance. Work can't be the be-all and end-all. And it just can't come at the cost of family, friends and other priorities. I'm not perfect with this either. I find it hard to turn off from work. But a good way to look at it is, what are you working hard for? Is there a goal you and your family are working towards to make it worthwhile? Or are you just a bit lost and keep doing it because it's all you know? Be intentional with your time. Don't just work for the sake of working. This kind of complacency can be detrimental to your relationships. It is possible to live a simpler lifestyle and make wise decisions along the way without needing as much money as you initially believe you do. You may also become happier, more receptive to new opportunities that are better suited to your new way of living by making more space in your life. Time cannot be bought back. It can only be sold in exchange for labour and wages. The third most common regret that Bronnie shared was that people said, "I wish I had the courage to express my feelings more." Bronnie explained this by noting, "Many people suppressed their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses related to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result." This is unnatural for a lot of us. We can't control the reactions of others, and so we control our own emotions just so we're not creating an issue or causing trouble. I do it myself sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But when pressed about regrets, people said they wished they hadn't done that they had the courage to speak out for themselves and express their personalities and feelings. Not doing so was suppressive and exhausting. We're constantly trying to please a boss, a neighbour, or a friend that they didn't really like. The key takeaway though is that although people may initially react in a way that you perceive to be negative, speaking honestly ultimately raises the relationship to a whole new level. That, or it releases the unhealthy relationship from your life. Either way, you win. It creates sustainable relationships that are built on open communication, or it filters out the ones that aren't worth your time. The fourth thing that Bronnie said that people regretted at the end of their lives was not staying in touch with friends. Bronnie noted, often they would not truly realise the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they let golden friendships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort that they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they're dying. There's a lot of truth to this one. It's easy to get caught up in life and put off staying in touch with friends. We all know that relationships have a positive impact on our quality of life. The one issue we run into though is that in a world full of deadlines, getting that project out at work, getting the kids to their after school activities, or just simply making sure that the bills are paid in time, friendships tend to fall by the wayside as they're not as urgent. They don't need your immediate attention. To avoid having this regret, do try and maintain relationships as much as possible. When it comes to retirement, use some of that newfound free time to spend more quality time with existing friends. Re-establish relationships and reconnect with old pals. By doing so, there's a good chance you will lead a retirement with much more purpose and meaning. It's easier to smile in the presence of others after all. The fifth and final regret that Bronnie found when interviewing the dying was, "I wish I had let myself be happier." She noted, this is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realise until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. Now, I appreciate that this isn't always an easy one and everyone has different circumstances, but there are some takeaways from this, especially as you retire and have all the time in the world. Are you going to spend that time on the couch watching mind-numbing television? There's probably a good chance this will lead to unhappiness. Or are you going to look for fulfillment and purpose in your retirement? What is it that truly makes you happy? And how can you go about doing more of those things that truly make you happy? You want to get to the end of retirement without regrets about the choices you made. Retirement should bring about a sense of peace and satisfaction with the decisions that brought you happiness. Okay, So those are the 5 most common regrets at the end of retirement. If you only take away one thing from today, I want you to take away intention. What do you want to create in this life so you can look back and smile upon knowing you lived life to the fullest? You did the things you wanted to do, and you spent as much time as possible with those closest to you. You might be wondering what all this has to do with retirement. The short answer is everything. At the end of the day, money is just a tool that allows us to do the things we want to do. You can have all the money in the world, the best tax strategy, and the best investment strategy. But if you don't have a life of meaning, intention, and purpose, none of that matters. Don't be like one of the patients Bronnie interviewed. Work to live, don't live to work. That's us for today, folks. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate if you could hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel before you go. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.